What's happening around the world
and what's happening here at home. Good evening and a very warm welcome. This is Primetime News on TV1. I'm Thiruni Karunaratna.
And I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
3 people, including a police officer, arrested in connection with Midania triple homicide. More details emerge in Ganemule Sanjeeva assassination plot. Suspect constable remanded. Political protection for underworld removed with new government's ascension, says Public Security Minister. Body with gunshot wounds found in Uswetike Yava. Nigambo shooting attempt foiled. Notice for local government election nominations next week. Prime Minister advocates for future-focused innovation at Innovation Island Sri Lanka Summit.
Starting off with our top story for tonight. Minister of Public Security Ananda Vijaypala announced in Parliament that 3 suspects have been arrested in connection with the assassinations of Aruna Vidanagamage, also known as Migas Are Khaja, and his 2 children in Midania. One of the suspects is a police officer.
We have successfully apprehended the killers involved in the murder of Aruna Priyantha Vidanagamage and his 2 children in Midania. The 3 suspects are currently in custody: Jeevan Prasad Kumara, Prabhat Tushara and Police Constable I.L. Janaka Prasad, badge number 82493. Who was arrested shortly before this announcement.
The bodies of the 3 victims were placed in a house in the Kudagallara area of Midania and their funerals are scheduled for tomorrow. Aruna Vidanagamage and his 3 children had left his in-laws' house in Madamulana on the 13th and were heading to their temporary residence on Thorakolayaya on a motorcycle. After stopping at a night hotel in Galpothaya to dispatch his elder son to buy food, Aruna Vidanagamage and his 2 younger children were shot at the Kadewata junction in Midania shortly after leaving the establishment. Sri Lanka police reported that the firearm used in the assassination of Ganemule Sanjeeva at the Harvsdorf Court Complex in Colombo was handed over to the shooter by a female suspect at a lodging in Kaduwela. Police said that the suspect disclosed information during the detention. SSP Buddhika Manatunga, the police spokesperson, stated that the suspect had inspected the firearm at the location. Further information revealed that the female suspect and the shooter had stayed at the lodging the day before the murder.
Upon reviewing the CCTV footage from the lodging, it was revealed that the suspect and the female accomplice used a white Honda Fit car, registration number WPCSC 8811, to travel to the crime scene. This vehicle has now been seized as evidence. Prior to the crime, an individual arrived in this led to these discoveries. Further statement from several individuals are required in connection with this incident.
The
police reported that the shooter, after assassinating Ganemule Sanjeeva, travelled to Nugegoda in a hired vehicle and purchased white clothing from a well-known apparel store. The female suspect met the shooter in Nugegoda and both travelled to Nigambo via the expressway in a hired vehicle.
During the questioning, the shooter revealed that he discharged the bag containing the clothes he wore during the crime on Ridivalla Road in Kochikade. The authorities have since recovered this bag. The shooter then boarded a blue 3-wheeler at Kadolkale Junction and travelled to Ridivalla Road in Kochikade, where he discharged his clothing at an abandoned location.
Investigations revealed that the shooter boarded a van heading to Karpitia with the intention of fleeing to India. The female suspect fled from Nigambo in a 3-wheeler. The police suspect that criminals Manmudini Padmasiri, also known as Kesel Badra Padme, and Commander Salintha were behind the contract to assassinate Ganemule Sanjeeva. The suspects had stayed at a lodging in Dulapitiya and Nigambo a few days before the murder. The police stated that Ganemule Sanjeeva was murdered under a contract worth 15 million rupees, of which 200,000 rupees had been deposited into the suspect's account. The remaining amount was agreed to be paid in India.
The shooter joined the 3rd Commando Regiment of the Sri Lanka Army on the 19th of December 2012 under soldier number 559189. and was discharged in May 2024 under general amnesty. This information has to be verified with the Panagoda military camp records.
The Colombo Crime Division is conducting investigations to apprehend the fugitive female suspect.
A woman named Sirasa Virasinghe, a resident of Katuralle Road in Negombo, was accompanying the shooter to commit the crime. Investigations are underway to arrest this 25-year-old suspect. Based on the information uncovered via the investigations, a police constable was arrested for aiding and abetting in carrying out this shooting. The police constable had been in touch with the female suspect before and after the crime. He was identified as a police constable attached to the Negombo police named Lahiru Prasanna Atugala with badge number 102216 from Padenia.
The Chief Magistrate of Colombo, Tanuja Lakmali, has ordered the remand of a police constable attached to the Negombo police station until the 7th of March. The constable was arrested in connection with the assassination of Ganemulle Sanjeeva. Additionally, the magistrate granted permission for the police to detain and question the driver suspected of transporting the shooter to the Colombo Magistrates Court. The Colombo Crime Division presented both suspects in court this afternoon.
A body with gunshot wounds was discovered on the Morganbotha shoreline in Uswetake, Java. The deceased has been identified as a 40-year-old Ayushanta Bope Arachi, a resident of Kadawatha. Police suspect that the individual was shot last night and the incident was captured on a nearby CCTV camera. Near the body, authorities found 9 empty bullet casings and a live round from a T-56 firearm. Sri Lanka police believe that the shooting was carried out by Dubai Kalana, an associate of Keselbadara Padme, who is suspected of being involved in the assassination of Ganemulle Sanjeeva. This afternoon, an attempted shooting of a shop owner occurred near the Kamachode bridge within the Negombo police division. 2 unidentified individuals arrived on a motorcycle and attempted to carry out a shooting. However, the firearm malfunctioned, causing the assailants to flee the scene. The Negombo police have launched a thorough investigation into the incident.
Sri Lanka's Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya emphasized that the country must embrace innovation to move towards a better future. She made these remarks while participating in the second day of the Innovation Island Sri Lanka Summit in Colombo.
Today marks the final day of Innovation Island Sri Lanka Summit. The event aims to position Sri Lanka as a global hub for innovation. The summit has brought together ministers, parliamentarians, senior state officials, diplomats and top experts from various fields from 50 countries. This afternoon, Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya participated in the summit, highlighting the importance of innovation for the country's future.
Today, we are looking at the past with an eye towards the future. Previously, our leaders talked about the glories of our past. Today, we are also talking about the potential for a glorious future. And it is for this reason that innovation is a very appropriate term in our conversations about how to make that happen. I don't mean innovation as a catchphrase or simply as the flavor of the month. There's a bit of a danger of that as well. Everybody wants to innovate. Everybody wants to become an innovator. I'm talking about innovation in the sense of being a catalyst for meaningful transformation. It's not simply about an imagined future, and I don't think it means a complete break from the past. But it certainly suggests a future, looking forward. It's also not simply about technology or science, but it's also about fresh perspectives, ideas, paradigms, fresh thinking. As a post-colonial nation, we struggle with issues of identity, governance systems, and outdated laws. We struggle with concepts such as modernity and development and postmodernity. Part of these struggles have to do with our failure, our collective failure to build a society based on social justice and inclusivity after independence. Independence did not unfortunately, really lead to greater democratization of society, of our society, in the sense of greater citizen participation. Rather, it led to the establishment of a system of patronage-based power systems, creating a privileged elite political class that gradually grew more corrupt. Today, this is changing, and we have an opportunity to democratize society both politically and economically. This is the transformative potential of this particular moment.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Vijay Herath also addressed the summit.
At the heart of the innovation process lies the purposing of resources on research and development. Some may ask, what is the return on the investment on R&D? Clearly, at the first level, it is the acquisition of knowledge itself. The real challenge for countries like Sri Lanka is how do we effectively monetize and make the products marketable in the global scene, leading to real wealth creation. An integral part of this is the intellectual property framework for new innovations. This protection of IP is a necessary enabling environment and is a priority of the government. A secure IP framework, we believe, is critical to the monetization of inventions and will be a critical aspect to foster innovation across sectors. Harnessing talent within the country to take innovation to the next level of value creation is an important policy commitment of the government. The government also recognizes the wealth of knowledge and innovation capacity available with overseas Sri Lankans with whom we plan to launch a program to harness this valuable resource.
The Innovation Island Sri Lanka Summit continued today with a series of discussions focused on various aspects of innovation. This is the first time in history that a conference dedicated solely to innovation is being held. The event aims to highlight the capabilities and new discoveries of countries like Sri Lanka, providing a platform for them to rise on an international stage. Deputy Minister of Financing and Planning Harshana Surya Pirma, speaking during a panel discussion, stressed on the need for innovative approaches in economic management and institutional reform.
Many thought we will in fact take over private businesses, we will acquire the assets of individuals, etc. Instead, we start championing the cause, allowing businesses to become the best that they can be, facilitating their growth journey, allocating finance for SMEs, allocating finance for research and development, allocating finance for reform in the budget, for example. Billions and billions have been allocated. So this is to bring about the change what we were speaking about. So that is words literally in action. If we travel this path, if we communicate our message well to people, particularly give the right message to investors, that we are serious of what we are talking of, and Sri Lanka is ready for business. The message was very well taken by the Sri Lankan investors. Similarly, our engagements, the debt negotiations with the international creditors, that was another notch. It took us to the next level. Independent rating agencies validated our move and the approach. So this shows we are ready, we are serious. Obviously, it will be with some challenges, some of the hard decisions that we need to make, but as the government, we are ready to make those hard decisions, obviously in consultation with the stakeholders. Thank you.
Meanwhile, parliamentarian Dr. Harsha De Silva spoke at a separate session.
Unique strategic position, right, offers multiple opportunities for us. You know, economics, like you said, right? So, I start with the coastal tourism. It's a huge drive. You see, places like Arugambe, Ahangama, you know, people come to kite surf, to watch whales, or you go to Mirissa or Kalpitia, you know, hundreds of pods of dolphins. This is an amazing place, right? And we have so much of coastal tourism activity, and what that means is hotels, restaurants, villas, bars, you name it, right? And so this is an entire ecosystem that, that depends on coastal tourism. So that's one. And then other is obviously fishing. Millions of people's livelihoods are dependent upon fishing. And then, of course, the deep water ports that we have. But, being 50 nautical miles away from one of the busiest sea routes, and I met, as I was walking in here, people who run these ports and terminals who know much more than I do. It offers us huge potential if we utilize them properly in port operations and maritime services and all of that. And I'm told like 60,000 ships pass by the island. So just imagine, what potential that exists.
A panel discussion also featured Sri Lankan cricket greats Muthaiya Muralidharan and Aravinda de Silva.
We come from different countries. There's obviously different religions represented, different races, different political opinions, geopolitical positions. So many things divide us. But there is one thing that I saw that brings us all together, that cuts across all of those divisions. And that's the fact that all of us here are looking for an opportunity. Aren't we? We are all looking for an opportunity. It doesn't matter how high or low in the hierarchy or what you do or where you come from, we are looking for opportunity, an opportunity to be recognized, to be treated with dignity, to reach our potential. As we represent people, we represent teams, we represent nations, we represent people who don't have what it takes. They don't have a fair playing field to reach their potential.
The Innovation Island Summit closed in Colombo with a performance.
Surangani, Surangani, Surangani tamalu kenawa. Surangani, Surangani, Surangani tamalu kenawa.
Newsfirst with the people.
In more local news, Election Commissioner General Saman Sri Ratnaik announced that preparations are underway to issue the call for nominations for the local government polls in the coming days. He made these remarks while attending a program in Ampara today.
Initially, we will issue the announcement for the call for nominations. Once the nominations are submitted and finalized, we will then be able to announce the election date. If no nominations are received for any particular council, we will have to call for nominations again. In the rare case that only one nomination is received, it will result in an uncontested victory. Therefore, the election date will only be announced after the nomination process is complete. There is no change to this procedure. The Election Commission will proceed with necessary steps to issue the call for nominations in the next few days. Following this, we will move forward with subsequent procedures.
Reverend Father Rohan de Silva, Executive Director of the Centre for Society and Religion, has reiterated his commitment to seeking justice for the victims of the Easter Sunday attacks.
The Centre for Society and Religion released 3 reports detailing the impact of these Sunday attacks on the victims and the current situation.
We are diligently gathering information through inquiries and documentation, even utilizing the Right to Information Act to uncover details that were previously inaccessible. This research will not stop here. We are filing complaints and pushing for these cases to be taken to court. It is regrettable that there was no investigation when Channel 14 reported on this matter. However, investigations have now commenced following our complaints, and we are grateful to the current government for this. We will continue to demand the release of the investigation volumes and ensure justice is served. If we do not hold the masterminds accountable, Sri Lanka will remain at risk.
මොකද අවසානයේදී මේ මහ මුලකරුවන් කියන කණ්ඩායම අපි කොයි හරි තැනක පුතුම කරාගත්තොත් මේ ලංකාවන්ට
To this day, we have been unable to provide an accurate count of the deaths from these Sunday attacks using state resources. There is an 18% discrepancy in the official death toll. Private sources also show varying numbers, with some reports indicating 305 deaths and others 296, a difference of 9.
The Government Medical Officers Association held a press conference in Colombo today to express their concerns regarding the budget proposals related to overtime and other allowances.
වසර 10කට පස්සේ මේ රටේ රාජ්‍ය සේවකයාගේ මූලික වැටුප නැවත වැඩි කරන්න ආණ්ඩුව තීරණය කළා තියෙනවා පියවර වශයෙන්. ඒ හරහා මේ රටේ විශේෂයෙන් ජාතික වැටුප් ප්‍රතිපත්තියට අනුකූලව ඒ වැටුප් අනුපාත වලට යටත්ව මේ
After 10 years, the government has decided to increase the basic salary of public servants in the country. This step aligns with the national salary policy, resulting in a significant increase in the basic salary for doctors as well. We, as the GMOA, would like to extend our gratitude to the President for this decision. However, the proposals targeting doctors' allowances in the budget have negated the real benefits of the salary increase. Previously, the overtime allowance was calculated based on the median value of the basic salary for the relevant grade, with a maximum of 120 hours per month. Now, without any proper assessment or justification, this budget has reduced the overtime allowances by 50% from 80% to 40% of the basic salary. This is a serious issue. Who is making these decisions? Typically, such a strategic decision require clear discussions.
මේ අයවැය ලේඛනය හරහා එකයට 120 විදියට 150කින් කප්පාදු කරලා තියෙනවා. දැන් මේක බරපතල කාරණයක්. දැන් කවුද මේ තීරණ ගන්නෙ? දැන් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මේ වගේ ව්‍යුහාත්මක තීරණයක් ගන්නකොට ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් පැහැදිලි සාකච්ඡාවක් තියන්න ඕනේ.
The Public Services United Nurses Union held a press conference in Colombo to address concerns regarding salary increments and working conditions.
The proposed salary increments are set to take place over a period of 3 years. This presents a problematic situation for us, as our salaries need to be adjusted according to the rising cost of living, not just this year, but in the coming years as well. Deciding our salaries after 2027 is a significant issue for us. The current salary increment is not sufficient. We are asking for a clear and stable salary increase without any complicated calculations.
For a long time, the holiday allowances that were part of our salary have been reduced from 20% to 30%. This clear benefit has been taken away and a proposal has been introduced. We are asking the government to come to the Salary Commission and discuss with the nurses to take appropriate steps. Either implement the current increments without reducing any historic allowances or take necessary actions to address this issue.
The government clarified public sector salary increases amid criticism in Parliament.
They tried to incite the working people, but it didn't work out. After presenting the correct statistics, we now understand what has happened. It is clear that attempts were being made to spread this misconception about the salary increase. However, we have clearly stated the salary of an office assistant. The President has increased the salary by 8,250 rupees over 20 months. This is clearly outlined in the annexes of the budget detailing the salary categories. The basic salary is the pride and dignity of all workers and professionals. It is the way to maintain their respect. Today, we are talking about how taxes are now reducing these salaries, calling it a meager salary increase. I ask, in the last 20 years, has there been such an effort to increase the basic salary? We haven't seen such a history recently. Many professionals were ashamed to mention their basic salary, leading to various family disputes. This is where professionals were let down. This is the actual situation of government employees. In such situations, our country was forced to go international. Can we take a little more time to work on this? Now a circular is coming again within the institution. Overtime is being cut, and basic salary has been increased in a way we can't understand.
The Ceylon Electricity Board is making strides towards the launch of the Maha Oya Pumped Storage Hydropower Project, Sri Lanka's first ever water battery. Located in Aranayaka and Nabalapitiya, the project will feature 2 reservoirs connected by a 2.5-kilometer tunnel, functioning as a large-scale energy storage system.
Dhammika Vimalaratna, the spokesperson for the Ceylon Electricity Board, said that during the daytime, water will be pumped from the lower reservoir using solar and wind power, while at night the water will be released from the upper reservoir to generate electricity. The project is expected to produce 600 megawatts of electricity and will cost approximately $450 million. Dhammika Vimalaratna stated that this project represents a new milestone in the country's energy production. The CEB also highlighted that this initiative will support the government's goal of generating 70% of the country's energy from renewable sources by 2030.
Today is day 4 of the budget debate, and here are some of the views expressed in Parliament.
Our country faces a serious issue with data accuracy. The World Bank reports an economic growth rate of 3.5% for January 2025, while the President claims it is 5%. This discrepancy highlights significant gaps, inequalities and deficiencies in our economic data. It is not an easy task, but we must rapidly grow our economy as a nation. Unfortunately, this budget does not clearly outline the path to achieving this. You came to power promising a system change, but there is no system change here. What we see are the policies of Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Mahinda Rajapaksa. There are 225 MPs, and funds amounting to 100 million rupees are allocated to their numbers. These funds are then distributed at the district level according to the preferences of 159 MPs. Where is the system change? This is Gotabaya Rajapaksa's system, Mahinda Rajapaksa's system. We need to move away from this.
මේක ගෝඨාගේ සිස්ටම් එක. මේක මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂගේ සිස්ටම් එක. ඉතින් මේකෙන් බැහැර වෙන්න. මෙතනට යන්න එපා.
ඕන් උත්සාහ කරේ දිගින් දිගටම රාජ්‍ය පංගුව අහිමි කරගන්න. අපි දැක්කේ නේ අපේ රටේ අපනයන ආදායම දේශීය.
They continuously attempt to dismantle the public sector. We have not seen a plan to strengthen our domestic economy or increase export revenue. We also haven't seen a strategy to secure a competitive share in the global market. Instead, we have witnessed inefficient economic policies and a lack of fiscal discipline. If there had been fiscal discipline and effective economic policies during your administration, and if there had been no corruption, our country would not be in this situation today. However, we are now correcting these economic policies and strategies. We are also adopting efficient state policies that hold the government accountable to the people, replacing the corrupt and inefficient public sector.
වෙනස් කරගන්නවා. ඒ වගේම දූෂණයේ ඉහවහ ගිය රාජ්‍ය කොටස වෙනුවට ජනතාවට වග කියන රාජ්‍යයට වග කියන කාර්යක්ෂම රාජ්‍ය ප්‍රතිපත්තියකුත් අපි අනුගමනය කරනවා. ඒක තමයි වෙනස් වෙන්නේ.
ජනතාවට මේ මන්ත්‍රීවරු ගොඩාක් කතා කරා දූෂණය සම්බන්ධයෙන්. ඒක ඉහවහ ගිහිලා තිබ්බා.
Many of these MPs spoke about corruption. It led to bankruptcy and the destruction of the country's future. Unlike a U-turn, their political vision has a V-turn. We hope that we will be able to create a better country in the future. The history of JVP is that it always disrupted the country's development. Though they put on the liberal economic policies, it does not suit them because it is ours.
ඒක ලස්සන නෑ ඒක අපේ ඇඳුම.
තේම අපිට මතකයි පවුලට සල්ලි බෙදාගත්තු පවුලේ ඇමතුරු ගොඩක් හිටියා ඒ සඳහා සල්ලි වෙන් කරගත්තු විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක් වෙන්
We remember the times when family members of ministers allocated large sums of money for themselves. Those budgets were presented to distribute funds among themselves. However, this budget does not include such allocations. We declared that we would change the prevailing political culture in this country, and we have already started doing so. We will continue this task legally in the future. You will no longer see possession of ministers' vehicles. From the President down to the MPs, their unlimited privileges have been curtailed. Their expenditure has been significantly reduced. This culture has been changed within this budget. Those who govern this country until now are the ones who bankrupted our economy. The former government declared the country bankrupt. But under the new administration, we have achieved a significant victory by freeing the country from bankruptcy.
මීට මාස දෙකකට පෙර ආතුව බංකොලොත් භාවයෙන් නිදහස් කරගත්තා. අලුත් ආණ්ඩුව යටතේ ඒක අපි ලබපු ලොකු ජයග්‍රහණයක්.
A tragic elephant attack claimed 2 lives in Polonnaruwa.
A wild elephant rampaged through Araganvilla, attacking 2 members of the same family. The victims were a 74-year-old woman and a 71-year-old brother. Villagers allege that the incident occurred because the elephant was driven out of the Mahabali Z2D canal.
කවුරු හරි කෑ කිව්ව අලි ගහනවා කියලා. එතකොට මම මිදුවට ඇවිල්ලා බලනකොට අතන මල් ගහ ගාව ඒ ඔහොම ඔළුවෙන් පන්න කකුල වලින් ගහනවා වගේ දැක්කා. ඊට පස්සේ මම ගියා පොඩි එක්කනයි මායි විතරේ මං ගේ ඇතුළට ඊට පස්සේ මං දැක්කා ජනේලෙන් දැක්ක මේ මෙතන ඔක්කොම කඩාගෙන ආන්ගරෙන් පහළට යනවා.
The woman died at the scene while her brother was taken to the Polonnaruwa hospital where he later succumbed to his injuries. Villagers pointed out that they had to purchase elephant deterrents themselves.
මේ අපර මේ වනජීවිකෙන් දුන්නේ මේ අලිවෙඩි වන ඒකල මම අද උදේ මෙතන ගිහලා වනජීවිකෙන් අලිවෙඩි ඉල්ලුවා දුන්නේ අලිවෙඩි ඉල්ල මේ සල්ලි වලට මගේ සල්ලි වලට මම මේ රච්චපත්තු කරන්නේ දැන් මේ ජීවිත දෙකක්නේ අපේ වටිනා ජීවිත දෙකක් ඕකට කවුද වන්දි ගෙවන්නේ අපිට සාධාරණයක් කළ දෙන්න කියලා තමයි කියන්නේ මේ විදිහට අහිංසක ජීවිත කීයක් හානි වෙයිද මේ විදිහට.
The issue of wild elephants being killed or severely injured by trains has become a significant national concern. The most recent incident reported yesterday involved the death of 6 elephants after a train collision. What is the solution? Today, Minister of Transport Bima Ratnayaka addressed this pressing issue in Parliament.
ප්‍රවාහන විෂය භාර අමාත්‍යවරයා සහ දුම්රිය සේවය භාර අමාත්‍යවරයා විතර මම ඇත්තටම සමාවිල්ලා සිටිනවා කනගාටු වෙනවා.
As the subject minister of transportation and railways, I deeply regret this collision. The proposals to address this issue are very costly and include the construction of flyovers. Therefore, we propose to set these costly measures aside and to link the railway with the 10 villages in question and notify the station master if the elephants are close to the tracks so that the message can be relayed to the engine drivers. Sri Lanka Railways has an understanding on the key efforts that need to be made. However, the issue is the delay in taking action. This is not rocket science.
දේවාල පිළිබඳ දුම්රිය සේවයට අවබෝධයක් තියෙනවා. අවුරුදු ගාණක් තිස්සේ අවබෝධය තිබිලා තියෙනවා. ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ ඒ අවබෝධයට අනුව අදාළ ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගැනීම ප්‍රමාද වී නැත්නම් ක්‍රියාමාර්ග නොගෙන තියෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා මේ rocket science මොනවත් මෙතන නැහැ.
වර්ෂයන් කැඳවලා මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් ගත යුතු ක්‍රියාමාර්ග මොනවද කියලා සාකච්ඡා කරා.
The relevant parties were summoned and measures that need to be taken were discussed. We identified the reason for this. Solutions were sought for this issue even during previous administrations. However, all solutions were limited to words and not executed. As a long-term measure, we propose to introduce sensors on either side of the tracks so that engine drivers will be notified over the presence of elephants on the tracks. We also discussed measures to drive the elephants away from the tracks. A committee was appointed to adopt the latest technology for this purpose.
හැදීම සඳහා සාකච්ඡා කරා කමිටුවක් නම් කරගත්තා මෙන්න මේ නවීන තාක්ෂණය යොදාගෙන මේ සඳහා කොහොමද මේ තාක්ෂණය පාවිච්චි කරගන්නේ කියන එක සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඉක්මන් වැඩපිළිවෙලක් හඳුන්වා දීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් අපි මෙතනදී සාකච්ඡා කරගත්තා.
The International Mother Language Day or IMLD 2025 was held this morning in Colombo.
The Mother Language Day commemoration was organized by the Bangladesh High Commission in Sri Lanka in collaboration with the Ministry of Education. The event's theme was Language for Peace and Harmony.
In the broader South Asian context, linguistic struggles have often been intertwined with colonial histories and post-colonial nation building. Colonial rules sought to homogenize languages and knowledge systems, privileging certain tongues while marginalizing indigenous and regional languages. The erasure of mother tongues was not merely an administrative act, but a tool of cultural domination that sought to sever communities from their histories, epistemologies, and solidarities. Post-independence, many of our nations, including Sri Lanka, have continued to grapple with language-based marginalization, exacerbating ethnic and communal divisions. In Sri Lanka, the significance of mother languages is deeply embedded in our socio-political fabric. The Sinhala and Tamil languages have long been central to our national consciousness.
Awards were given to winners of children's creative art, creative writing and cultural performances.
Architect 2025, an annual event by Sri Lanka Institute of Architects, got underway at the BMICH.
Architect 2025, showcasing architects' work and trade exhibition, is taking place at the BMICH in Colombo. Organized by the Sri Lanka Institute of Architects, the event aims to craft narrative and designs tomorrows. Architect 2025 brings an experience of groundbreaking designs, cutting-edge innovations and visionary ideas shaping the future of architecture. The event that opened today will conclude on Sunday. Sirasa TV, Sirasa FM and Newsfirst are the media partners for Architect 2025.
For the first time in Sri Lanka, a fruit festival has been organized by the Scaling Up Nutrition Civil Society Alliance.
A fruit festival is being held at the Colombo Public Library Auditorium. The festival, organized by the Scaling Up Nutrition Civil Society Alliance, will take place until the 22nd of February. The purpose of this festival is to bring about awareness of the nutritional value of all kinds of fruits.
Colombo hosted the culmination of the 3-month Pitch to Pitch initiative.
The New Zealand High Commission, Sri Lanka Australia New Zealand Business Council, Sri Lanka Cricket and Soul Sounds held the flagship event of a 3-month-long initiative called Pitch to Pitch in Colombo today. The event was ahead of the Sri Lanka women's team's 2025 tour of New Zealand. The event was graced by Yasoja Gunasekara, Additional Secretary to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as the guest of honour, along with the participation of senior government officials, leading business persons and academia. Pitch to Pitch is a program co-designed collaboration involving the efforts and creativity of many people and organizations. The Pitch to Pitch program consists of 7 events, of which 4 have already taken place. The initiative will be continuing in New Zealand and in Sri Lanka upon the women's cricket team's return, with selected activities aimed at promoting Sri Lanka and New Zealand and helping to boost Sri Lanka's tourism brand. Singhagiri celebrated its 2024 calendar year performance with its dealer partners. The company have recorded 100% growth in business in 2024 compared to the previous calendar year, leading to the partners' glory celebration in Colombo. The senior management of Singhagiri Private Limited, island dealers and others were present for the event.
And with that, we wrap up Primetime News for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.